Howdy y'all, Celoth here. It's been a long time. I haven't posted a video in about 5 months, and I'm sorry about that. I kept saying I was wanting to build a channel, and then I just disappeared. About 5 months ago, I got some difficult medical issues going on. Thought I had the big C for a little while. I don't, which is great. But I really just couldn't keep up with that. I told myself I'm going to get back on the wagon once my medical stuff is clear, which it is as of this past Monday. I got the go ahead and good diagnosis. So, and I figured today is the best day to get back into it because we have a road ahead for 2024. So, I'm sorry if there's any video quality issues. We're just going to plug ahead with this, and we'll fix those as we go as this kind of gets started up again. So let's take a look, and this is a big one. We have Jar Jar Binks coming as a new legendary. We've got a new Naboo raid, and I've only glanced over this, but it's it's kind of nuts. So let's get into it. So we've got February 24 road ahead, new Mandalore bonus zone, Gungan faction, the Galactic Republic faction, guild gifting, Jar Jar Binks, and a new raid, the Battle for Naboo. The Galactic Republic faction isn't new. We'll keep reading, but I don't think that's saying that there's a new faction there. So first up, new bonus zone. While we don't have full details on the new bonus zone, we're working on one and leaning on our inspiration from Star Wars Rebels. So it'll be Mandalore based on Star Wars Rebels. Hey, maybe we'll get an Ursa Wren unit. That'd be great. Not likely, but that'd be pretty great. You can assume Gar Saxon, Imperial Super Commando, all of the Phoenix crew, I'm guessing, are going to be needed for this. In fact, here we go. Who's required? As we're still working on it, requirements haven't been finalized. You can expect some of the newer Mandalorian characters, Bo-Katan Mandalore, Dark Trooper Moff Gideon, etc. Old favorites like Sabine Wren, who will make an appearance, and they'll post an updated list once we get closer to that. And then, Phantom Menace. I was in the camp that we weren't going to get a lot from the Phantom Menace. I was dead wrong. We are getting a full Battle for Naboo raid. What better way, they say, to celebrate the Phantom Menace's 25th anniversary than with an iconic battle on the planet of Naboo. We're excited to give you an early read-in and look at the next raid and the direction we're looking to go while building out our Episode 1 Galaxy of Heroes adventure. You and your guild will find yourselves in the middle of conflict, participating in the Battle of Naboo against waves of battle droids with no one in sight. Will you be able to sustain all that firepower? Gear up your Gungans, who will give you your best chance of survival and maximum point potential. Initial target date for this is around summertime, but we'll keep you folks posted as we get closer to launch. And let's remember, when they released Endor, they said that after a lot of discussion around Crate and then the transition into Endor, they said that the raid would be every 8 or 9 months or so. So we're guessing, we're assuming, and of course, you know, anything can change, that this raid is going to come sometime in July or August. Well, we'll get into that in just a minute. As it goes on, it talks about the inspiration for the raid, what it was like working on it, and it says, what are some characters or factions that may be required? While the raid is still in production and nothing is finalized, leaning towards subsets of characters found in the following factions: Galactic Republic, Jedi, Separatists, and Gungans. In Battle for Naboo, the Gungans, with Jar Jar Binks on their side, will give you the best opportunity to be successful in the raid. There'll be a featured faction inside the raid, much like Jabba and Hutt Cartel were in Krayt Dragon and Leia was for the speeder bike raid. So there's been an open question on whether every raid release was going to tie into a galactic legend. Definitively, we can say this is not. They go on later here to say that Jar Jar is a legendary. Jar Jar is the featured unit in this raid, so no galactic legend tied to this raid. It's going to be Jar Jar. So, it says, speaking of the Naboo raid, we have an awesome new faction, Gungans. Word from the design lead, Gungans rarely left their home planet of Naboo. Because of this, they were exceptionally proud and protective of their home, and we wanted this faction to represent that moment in the Phantom Menace of them standing steady on the battlefield as the Trade Federation invasion unfolds in front of them. The Gungan team will have significant upfront power from their shield generator to defend against any would-be attackers. Please let this be a defensive squad. While much of the team works in an orderly faction, there is a member that may cause a bit of disarray to the battle plans. So, we're getting Gungans as an entire, complete new faction. We are getting specifically Boss Nass, who is a boisterous leader who commands the Gungans with pride and utilizes their unique technology to achieve victory. His shield generator will provide Gungans a way to avoid damage early on in the fight. I like the sound of that. Captain Tarple is a decisive attacker that sets up his teammates for success and inflicts sizable damage to the enemies. Gungan, I almost said Bombardier. This says Boomadier, and I don't think that's a typo. I think it's Gungan Boomadier. Versatile attacker that capitalizes on enemy debuffs and ramps damage while using abilities when this shield generator is up. And then Gungan Phalanx, a stout tank that's willing to assist his allies in need and provide coverage with his shield. And then all these lead up to the new legendary, Jar Jar Binks. A Gungan support who isn't afraid to interject into the battle and offer his own, how should we say, brand of help, confounding the enemy. Since Jar Jar is a legendary unit, you'll need the other 4 Gungans to unlock him. And with Jar Jar Binks on their side, the Gungans will do great work and cause a bit of chaos during the battle for Naboo raids, so be sure to gear them up and utilize the shield generator. Kit reveals and how to obtain these will be provided in the usual cadence, so stay tuned for more information. Let's talk about Jar Jar Binks really briefly. Jar Jar is a controversial character, to say the least. There are people who love Jar Jar Binks. He is a beloved character from their childhood. He brought a sense of whimsy and comedy to Star Wars to them. There are some people who aren't a fan of Jar Jar. They weren't a fan of the prequels. They didn't like the childish, goofy jokes. They wanted a more serious adult story. And that's fine. People are going to fall on one side of that or the other. Then there are people who see Jar Jar as representing real-world controversies and real-world stereotypes. And of those people, there are those who are frankly offended, bothered, hurt by the existence of characters that kind of play into those stereotypes as they see it. And then there are people who see him as a stereotype and use him as a hateful meme. So I think we can all agree, as fans of this game and fans of Star Wars, let's just move on. Let's be the adults in the room. This is a thing now, no matter how much we hate it or how much we like it, right? So let's be good to each other, be nice to each other, be kind to each other. Let's not rile anybody up over this. Gungans are here, and for those of you who really wanted Gungans, I'm happy for you. As we keep going, there's more. We not only have Jar Jar Binks, we have Queen Amidala and new Galactic Republic characters. Says another iconic character making her way to the holo table is Queen Amidala. She is a future Conquest character and will be accompanied by 2 new characters for the Galactic Republic faction. We don't have details ready to share on her supporting cast yet. We will say these characters are also iconic, and we can't wait to tell you more about them. If one of them is not Bail Organa, I quit. From the design team, what does Queen Amidala do? She does some interesting new things that haven't been seen a lot in Galaxy of Heroes. Without going into many details, there's a lot coming with her that's going to be fun to play with, while also making you learn to get the most out of her squad. We're still working on the details and functionality, but excited to see what the reaction is to what's to come. In a later section, we will go over the decoy mechanic a little bit. That sounds very cool. She has interesting mechanics around fairly unused buffs in the game. It says, I think her squad, to gain the most potential out of those buffs while staying behind the decoy mechanics, will be crucial to making the most out of her team. She has GAC Omicrons, great to hear that, but will have solid raid utility, helping you power through the Battle of Naboo. And we will provide more details in the future on the Queen and her crew at a later date. So, any new mechanic, says Decoy is naturally her new mechanic. It is a summon unit with a permanent taunt, which leads into the thematic feel for Phantom Menace, and her character as the decoy sets out to protect the queen. The uniqueness of her kit happens while the decoy is active. Queen Amidala will gain a new status effect called Queen's Protection, and for how many stacks of Queen's Protection that Queen Amidala has, she gives double of its effects to other Galactic Republic allies. And then once the decoy is defeated, the Queen gets to take a bonus turn, gains a quote-unquote gnarly locked buff, and inflicts an enemy with something nasty. So, she's the most iconic, easily, image from the Phantom Menace that we haven't yet seen in the game, right? Obviously, Darth Maul is another iconic image from Phantom Menace, and we have him. We have 2 versions of him. And Padme, even though we do have Padme, it's not quite the same as Queen Amidala with the throne room regalia. So very interesting to see how that works out. I have been confidently saying that I thought the next Conquest unit would be Crosshair as a Bad Batch Season 3 tie-in. Clearly, Amidala is the next Conquest unit. For her to be out and available for the raid, they would really have to release her in this next Conquest. So once Darth Bane is done, Amidala is done. So we should get her kit reveal here in a month or so, 3 or 4 weeks. So some interesting stuff there for sure. And then we're getting 2 new Galactic Republic characters. I cannot imagine that one of those is not Bail Organa. Of course, Bail wasn't really connected with Queen Amidala. He was more connected to Padme in Attack of the Clones and beyond. But it's a perfect time to bring him in. The only time that would have been better would have been with Leia, right? So he's been wanted for a while. I fully expect that we'll get Bail. And then the other one, best guess is Padawan Kenobi, but we're definitely getting something there, right? Could also be Captain Panaka. Who knows? Now, a new feature, Guild Gifting. This sounds interesting. I haven't actually read it yet, but it sounds interesting. Last but certainly not least, a feature that has been requested in a ton of our surveys, Guild Gifting is coming to the holotables. With this feature, you will be able to, as you guessed it, gift bundles to fellow guild members through a very easy UI system. Below, you will find a few images from the prototype test build that will show you how this will work. So you'll go to Gifts, which is a tab in the store, and if you look here on the side, I don't know if they're changing the storefront because this only has 4 tabs: data cards, resources, crystals, and gifts. But this is a tab. No, ignore me at all. This isn't a currency store. This is like the store. So. This is a new look for the store. This will be interesting. Sorry, I'm reading this for the first time. So you'll go to the gifts tab in the store. You'll select the gift you want to give, and you will be able to buy packs for other players. You'll pick a member of your guild you'd like to gift it to. Hey, y'all want to give me stuff? Go for it. I'm kidding. I'm not soliciting gifts. It's a joke. Don't give me things. Not that you would. Anyway, you'll pick a member of your guild. It looks like it is just guild too, which is probably good so that people aren't farming gift giving in Discords or whatever. Send your gift to help guild members. And step 3, tell your friend to check their inbox. It looks really easy. I mean, hey, I bought you a bundle. Here you go. That's really neat. We've got a bunch of thoughts from the Galaxy of Heroes team. I'm not going to sit here and read through all of these, but we've got notes from Meathead, Miller, and Coffee. Just going into what Meathead said, because he's our community manager. We all love Meathead. He says, we thoroughly enjoyed talking about these amazing characters coming to Galaxy of Heroes this year. Personally, I'm really excited about the Gungans and the Republic faction under Queen Amidala, though I'm trying to figure out who to go after first. That'll be a late night with coffee. Black coffee, of course. If you put cream and sugar in it, it's an abomination. Snacks and conversation with myself to figure that one out. Or a couple late nights because, snacks and coffee. I look forward to my guild sending me gifts. I mean, me sending people in my guild gifts. And it goes on. I'm not going to read it all again. These are notes from CG, which I like. I like the kind of personal touch that gives these road ahead. So, how are we feeling about this? What do you guys think? The Phantom Menace is kind of understandably controversial Star Wars movie. Of course, there are plenty of those to go around. I was going into this with the expectation that we were going to get a legendary event starting with Stap, leading into a territory battles planet, Naboo. Obviously, that's not going to happen. The territory battle zone is going to be Mandalore from Rebels, and we are getting a massive content cycle around the Phantom Menace. If you look back in previous years, the first content cycle of the year last year was Jedi Knight Cal Kestis, his prerequisites, and then the Tuskens, right? And then, of course, all that led into the raid. Year before that, the year was taken up with Inquisitors. So each one of the past 2 years has basically been a traditional legendary journey, and that's kind of it. This time we've got a journey event, Jar Jar, with an entirely new faction, so we're already kind of in that area that Inquisitors took up. But then we have the Conquest unit also tying into it. We have 2 other characters. I assume they're marquees. We don't really know, but 2 other characters coming to the Republic faction. And then the raid. So that's pretty massive as far as stuff around the Phantom Menace. So if you're a prequels fan, rejoice. This is definitely everything you guys wanted, barring a trench capital ship and a Dooku Galactic Legend, I suppose. If you're not a prequels fan, which, full transparency, I am not. This isn't the content that I had hoped for. But I still think there's going to be a lot of fun to be had here. A lot of good stuff to be had. So let me know what you think. Let me know what you want to see ahead. Thanks for tuning in once again. I'm sorry for the past 5 months, but looking forward to get back into this. Thanks for watching, and may the Force be with you.